to the RunRX podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running. Okay, so we're outside again at the beautiful park. So there's some construction going on. That's that hum you hear in the background. I want to bring up the guys that we see on the what is that? The volleyball field over there, right off the bat. Because guys, we're at this. It's a beautiful park. It's got 2 volleyball nets that are on sand, and there's what looks like 4, probably football players. I think they're probably high school football players. Yeah. And what they're doing is what are they? Jumping lunges?
They're doing like quick feet. They've got a ladder out. Yeah, they're doing lunges, jumps.
Yeah, so they're doing lunges, jumps. They're doing these lunge jumps, then they're doing quick feet in the ladder, and then they're running to the end and coming back. And I wanted to talk to Valerie about that. I mean, I don't see a coach there. This is just them doing drills.
Well, they probably saw it on YouTube or TikTok.
Right. And they're just having fun.
Right.
And isn't that the point of the drills that you try to put it on Instagram? You do a drill a day. And isn't that the point of it, just to try something different?
Yeah, and I call it my play time. And I think that we forget as adults that movement is play, or should be play.
Well, and in our defense, and I'm probably the worst at this, you know me, as soon as I start to play, as soon as I try to do something different, that old joke, it's like I used to get sore from dancing all night. Now I get sore from rolling over, right? And so we were talking about this today. I need to keep moving.
Right.
I can't stop just because I hurt myself. Right?
And notice, guys, if this is important, because movement as you get older it's the only thing you've got. Like, to keep you people will say, like, it's an old Chinese saying, you're as old as your joints.
Oh, totally.
Right? So it's like movement is what lubricates the joints. And instead of thinking I have to get like so much movement in,
right, we
look more at like the quality of the movement. And they've actually done a recent study with older ladies, like really older ladies, like 70s and 80s. And most of the women that had the strongest heart and the strongest hips, none of them did long distance. They all did short bursts.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they probably had like less than 5,000 steps. But the women that were like getting up and just staying in with movement were doing the best. And that's the whole point of what I teach, or what RunRX teaches, is the drills are not about, how do we say it? Like these guys, they're out there having fun. They're connecting with their body. They want to move better.
They're challenging themselves a little bit each go around. Like there's this little short guy. There's a tall, thin guy. It's great. And then this big guy looks like a linebacker. And you can tell that the smaller guy, he's moving like speedy fast, guys. I'm watching him. And then the big guy came up behind him, and you can see he's like really trying to move at the same speed. But just by sheer gravity and his weight, it's not happening for him, right?
Correct.
It's not good or bad. We're not trying to judge anybody. We're saying it's your muscle type, right? It's your body type. It's your muscle elasticity, possibly.
But on the same end, even though they play different roles on the team,
right?
We can obviously tell who's playing what. They're all still playing together.
Yeah.
And they're all still working on the same movement.
The same movement, the same drills.
Correct. It doesn't matter. And that's what we try to get across to everybody else. We want to be, for us, our sport is running, right? So running is what I want to be able to go do and perform and feel good and enjoy my day doing. Well, it's like any other athlete. You've got to train for your sport, and you've got to do that with drills, preparation, practice, and it's not stretching. We all want to stretch, which is great because stretching is necessary, but the reality is, when's the last time you really worked on your elasticity and connected with that feeling? We talk about doing things like jumping rope. Well, as a little kid, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I did a lot of jumping rope as a kid. And then after I wasn't a little kid anymore, I didn't pick up a jump rope again until I started teaching, we were laughing about this earlier, kickbox aerobics.
Yeah.
And I started teaching kickbox aerobics in 96. So I was 25 years old. So I hadn't picked up a jump rope in over 10 years, right? And then I've not put it down since.
Yeah.
Because I remembered once I started how fun it is to jump rope. Now, do I jump rope for 30 minutes? Absolutely not.
No.
and you were never meant to. It's
Right.
not. It's not for time, and it's not for reps. It's for just jumping.
Well, it's like you did kickboxing. That's what boxers do. They do it
Right.
because they have to have quick feet. They have to be able to move and be agile on the mat as they're punching. But we don't think about that. We should think about, but we don't think I need to be agile to run.
Correct.
I need to have quick feet
Right.
to actually pull quickly in response to the fall,
Right.
so that I don't fall on my face, right? So
Right.
that I can run faster and not have that pain. So that's really interesting. The idea that these guys are probably running have totally different positions. They may not even be football. I'm just making a huge assumption here, right? They could be baseball. They could be basketball. They could be nothing, right?
Right.
They could be I shouldn't say
Having fun
nothing.
in the sand.
They could just be having fun in the sand. But that's a question we get a lot. We get people saying, "Well, I'm a sprinter, or I do trails, or
I'm not fast. I'm a slow runner."
Right. Oh, yeah. I do marathons, so I shouldn't have to do drills. Talk about that. I mean, that idea that no, it doesn't matter if I'm a sprinter or a 5K or a triathlete, right?
Yes, and 100%. And that's the thing, guys. We all have muscle elasticity, and when you use your muscle elasticity, you save your joints. You save so many things, because using muscle elasticity allows your muscles to relax. The elasticity allows the muscle itself to not have to work as hard. So when you see a runner and they look smooth, part of that smoothness is because of the elasticity they're using. And what's crazy is, in running, we don't want to jump, right? We want to minimize vertical oscillation. So we use the training, the practice, the drills, to develop your elasticity, but we're not trying to just jump for height, right? We're trying to simply pull the foot off the ground, but to develop elasticity, you've got to do some jumping drills. And the thing that we have a challenge with as we get older, it's not about your speed of running. Please understand that. Everybody has the same ability to develop and use muscle elasticity. Everybody. It's not fast twitch muscle, slow twitch muscle. That's very different. This is elasticity, and if you limit yourself in your thinking, like, oh, well, I only run halves, or I'm a this. No, you're a person,
right?
And you want to be better at running, whatever your speed, whatever your distance, whatever anything. We can specialize later, but guys, the foundation of running is being able to do a ball of foot hop.
Right. So just like these guys are doing the same drills no matter what they're doing, just like same with like basketball or football or golf. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do the same putts. I'm going to do the same drives. I'm going to do the same things. Right. We need to think about that with running, and so it's about that elasticity, regardless of what distance I'm going to go to. But back to what we said at the beginning of this, we were talking about age and mobility. So my elasticity, if I stop moving, will my muscles actually become, like I've heard it said, and so I'm kind of asking you, is it like rubber bands where they start to get dry and brittle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. And this is the challenge. It goes both ways, right? If you take a rubber band and you keep stretching it, and you keep stretching it, and you keep stretching it, it also loses its original coil.
Right.
So that's the same as stretching, guys. Like, you can't just stretching and stretching and stretching, and then when you go run, think, why am I not running better?
Right.
The elasticity is called muscle tendon elasticity, and it's where the muscle attaches to the bone, right? Mm-hmm. This is what, and by the way, it's what we're meant to do. You've got this incredible ability in your plantar, in your soleus, in your calf. They're made to do this. And so when you retrain yourself into using your own elasticity, so absolutely, it's use it or lose it, 100%.
Okay.
But keep this in mind, it's not the ability for the muscle to contract. That's not what you've lost. You've lost the ability for, just like your hair tie,
right,
to recoil back.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't use my springs, what am I using? I'm putting stress on my muscle tendon. I'm putting stress on the joint. I'm probably over contracting the muscles. So then we see a lot of people that are like using other muscles in their movement. Like they're using the calf instead of their foot. They're using the hip and quad instead of the hamstring.
Right.
So then they'll say, oh, well, I have weak glutes, or I have tight hips, or my hamstrings are weak. No, they're not. They're really strong.
Yeah.
You're just not using them in the movement pattern you should be moving them.
Right.
That's what you have to relearn.
And that's what going through the drills and really focusing on your perception when you're doing the movement and doing them with quality, especially as we get older, is what's going to really make the difference. Okay.
And having fun.
Yeah. And next week, join us next week. We're going to talk about those patterns. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us on the RunRX podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.